By now, you've heard it all. The Golden State Warriors completed the greatest regular season in NBA history. They weren't just great, they were on the verge of immortality. But unlike every other all-time team, they failed to finish the job. How did the Warriors go from chasing history to suffering one of the most heartbreaking defeats in sports? This is the story of their historic season. The relentless grind, the injuries, the internal struggles, and the highs and lows of an NBA campaign that pushed them to the limit. This is the rise and fall of the 73-9 Warriors, the greatest team that never was. A championship to prove. The Warriors entered the 2015-16 season as a rare breed, defending champions with something to prove. The previous year, they had defeated LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers to win the franchise's first championship since 1975. But injuries to Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love allowed some to discredit Golden State's title. Many believe their championship was a fluke, a product of fortunate circumstances rather than true dominance. The Warriors were determined to silence those doubts. Their response? A record-shattering, statement-making 24-0 start to the season. Led by Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson, the Warriors scored over 100 points in every game of the streak, thriving under the weight of their own growing target. As they kept winning, an unthinkable possibility became real. The 1995-96 Chicago Bulls' seemingly untouchable 72-win record was within reach. The pursuit of 73. The Warriors season was filled with jaw-dropping performances. Curry erupted for more than 45 points 6 times, including a legendary 46-point night against the Oklahoma City Thunder, where he drilled 11 three-pointers and sank an overtime game winner from nearly half court. They shattered records at every turn. A league-best 34 road wins, a 54-game home winning streak. And by April, they sat at 68-7, just 5 wins away from history. A home loss to the Boston Celtics on April 1 momentarily jeopardized their chase, but the Warriors regrouped. They went 4-1 over the next 5 games, setting up a must-win season finale against the Memphis Grizzlies. With the world watching, they delivered, securing a dominant 125-104 victory to finish 73-9, the best regular season record in NBA history. But for all their brilliance, their 9 losses were oddly revealing. 4 of them came against teams that didn't even make the playoffs, including the Lakers, second worst record in the league, the Timberwolves, the Bucks, and the Nuggets. Even the greatest team have their off nights, but it was surprising to see the Warriors occasionally play down to their competition. Still, the bigger story was their dominance. They shot 52% from the field, redefined three-point shooting, and moved the ball with effortless beauty. The Warriors had become more than a team. They were a spectacle. And yet, history would remember them for something else entirely: the collapse. Despite their historic season, the Warriors entered the playoffs battered and exhausted. Stephen Curry's injury woes began in the opening round. First with a tweaked ankle, then a brutal slip on a sweat puddle that left him sidelined. Draymond Green later admitted to playing through a concussion, and the toll of chasing 73 wins became painfully evident. Still, Golden State fought through adversity. They survived a tough challenge from the Oklahoma City Thunder in the Western Conference Finals, rallying from a 3-1 deficit to win the series. With that, they set up a finals rematch with the Cleveland Cavaliers, a chance to cement their place as the greatest team ever. The Warriors stormed to a 3-1 lead, seemingly on the verge of history. No team had ever blown a 3-1 lead in the NBA Finals, but then everything unraveled. Draymond Green's suspension in Game 5 shifted momentum. LeBron James and Kyrie Irving delivered back-to-back masterpieces. Curry struggled to find his rhythm, and in Game 7, the Warriors fell apart in the final minutes. They missed their last 9 shots, including a rushed, ill-advised 3 from Curry that he later admitted was a mistake. The Cavaliers won 93-89, completing the first-ever 3-1 comeback in finals history. The Warriors, after winning 73 games, were left with nothing, a legacy of what-ifs. The outcome of the 2016 finals changed the course of NBA history. Instead of becoming the greatest championship team ever, the 73-9 Warriors became a cautionary tale. Draymond Green later admitted the team may have overextended themselves chasing the regular season record. Curry reflected on his struggles, saying his competitive nature led him to force bad decisions in Game 7. Klay Thompson, usually stoic, called it the hardest moment of his career. Winning 73 games was an extraordinary feat, but it came at a cost. Fatigue, injuries, and ultimately a missed opportunity for a title. But should the Warriors be remembered solely for their failure? History tends to be cruel to teams that fall short, but the 2015-16 Warriors weren't just another contender. They changed basketball. Their style of play, three-point shooting, small ball lineups, relentless pace, revolutionized the game. And while they didn't win the championship, they achieved something just as rare. They became unforgettable. The 73-9 Warriors were a lesson in timing, luck, and the unforgiving nature of sports. They were a dynasty in the making, a spectacle in motion, and, for 82 games, the best basketball team the world's ever seen. They just weren't the greatest, because to be the greatest, you have to finish the job.